Hello and welcome to another Cyberpunk video. In this video, we're going to cover two things. Number one, we're going to ask a very simple question. Will Cyberpunk 2077 recover? This is definitely the big question on everyone's mind right now. And number two, we're going to discuss a conspiracy theory that's currently circulating revolving Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red, and Nvidia. It basically claims that some things were done on purpose to try and get players to buy the newly released hardware. So, stay tuned for that. CD Projekt Red recently made a video apologizing directly to the fans and also disclosing the newly revised roadmap for DLC and things like patches. They also talked about how they will be working very hard to get the game to what they originally intended the game to be, meaning they will be trying very hard to get the game fixed. Now, I praise CD Projekt Red for having the courage to publicly acknowledge the problem and apologize to fans. Cyberpunk 2077 has most definitely had a rough start, to say the least. But will CD Projekt Red be able to fix all the issues and bugs in Cyberpunk and get it back on track? I absolutely believe that they can. CDPR are a very talented company, and there's no doubt in my mind that Cyberpunk 2077 is an excellent game. It's just hidden away beneath all the problems at the surface. I do honestly think it is one of the best games of this generation. It has everything, quite literally. It has an incredibly intricate combat system within an insanely detailed, massive open world. Well, it's not massive, but it's really no surprise that the game came out with so many problems and issues. I mean, it obviously shouldn't, especially since it was in development for 6 or 7 years, but it has. Nonetheless, CD Projekt Red's biggest enemy right now is time. Even though we've already had some patches and fixes that have somewhat improved the game, Cyberpunk needs a lot of work and a huge amount of fixes, some of which are deeply embedded into the game's code. This most likely means it could be quite some time before the game reaches the sort of level both the players and CD Projekt Red would be happy with, especially for, the last-gen consoles. Of course, they've had the biggest problems and will most definitely take some doing getting the game fixed in those platforms. I'm not even sure if it's possible, especially when CD Projekt Red have so many other issues going on at the moment. Their stock came crashing down upon the release of Cyberpunk and all the negativity that surrounded it. That has led to huge losses, and CDPR now facing legal action from investors. Things are not really going well. It's just not a great time for those guys. In any case, the hype that surrounded Cyberpunk obviously made this whole ordeal much worse, especially when you consider that on the PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X, there's actually very few issues. In fact, for the most part, it's really only lower than intended frame rates and bugs that are of any real concern. There really aren't many game-breaking problems on these platforms, and even when it comes to frame rates, most players can still reach 60 frames per second with some tweaking, albeit the graphical quality might have to take a hit, but still, it's better than having to play at 30 frames per second or below. Now, I think it's time that we talk conspiracy theory. There are many people out there right now that believe Cyberpunk 2077 was created this way on purpose. What I mean by that is the optimization of the game and how poorly optimized it is. The conspiracy going around claims that Nvidia and CD Projekt Red partnership includes a kind of marketing master plan to force players into purchasing the new RTX 30 series GPUs. Now, I guess it's a plausible conspiracy theory. I can definitely see why players would choose to believe something like that. I think by now we're all very much aware of ray tracing, since it was talked about more than the game itself. Also, if you do a search for Cyberpunk videos on YouTube, you will most definitely come across a whole bunch that showcase the graphics with an RTX 3090 on ultra settings and, ray tracing enabled and 4K resolution, 60 frames per second, and even 8K. I mean, obviously, the game will look incredible with that hardware, especially when you compare it to more standard GPUs and last-gen consoles. historically, there has always been marketing ploys that would be similar to this in some way, shape, or form. So, in my opinion, this most definitely is not out of the realms of possibility, especially when you consider that the Nvidia stock for their new GPUs sold extremely well and very quickly, to the point where you can't find stock anywhere, and it's been like that for months. And Nvidia have already said multiple times it will be a while before we start seeing stock being sold again. All of this is actually leading to a lot of speculation and people believing yet another conspiracy, which is claiming that Nvidia and AMD have actually purposely created the stock shortage in order to push prices up for new tech. In any case, that would be a subject for a whole new video. Now, as far as the game is concerned, I for one am still very much enjoying it. I play it almost every day, and I am hopeful that CD Projekt Red will come through and in time get Cyberpunk to an awesome place. I'd be interested to know what you guys think of the conspiracy. Do you believe it? Do you not? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Give it a like, give it a dislike. Hopefully I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye.